Hello, I'm Harry Norton and welcome to Harry Does Data. In this series, we'll be looking at R programming for beginners. R is a free and open source object-oriented programming language with a focus on statistical computing. Its dedicated collection of data analysis and visualization tools, along with its vast array of third-party libraries, make it a great option for anyone looking to do anything from simple data analysis right up to more complex tasks like machine learning. This set of tutorials will look at the fundamentals of R right from the beginning. So, if you're new to programming entirely and didn't understand a word I just said, or just new to R as a language, this series will give you everything you need to do your first data analysis project. So let's jump in. But just before we do, don't forget to give this video a quick like and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on more data science content. So, let's start by downloading and installing R. So if we just go to Google and search for R download, then this first link here should take you to download for R for your operating system. But if it doesn't, then I've put a link to the folder for other operating systems in the description below. So let's just click on that and then download R 4.0.3 for Windows. Once you've clicked that, it should start downloading. And just as a side note, I'll be doing everything in these tutorials on Windows, but everything should work pretty much the same on Linux or Mac. So now that's finished downloading, we're ready to open it up, and we're pretty much just going to accept all of the standard settings. So we'll click Next. You can change where the file is stored if you want to do that here, but if not, then just carry on. As I said, we're just going to click Next through all of these. Default startup options, the standard Start menu folder, and just Next again. And so that's that all done. Just click Finish. And now that's R installed. So we're just going to try and find R now. So if we just scroll down to R, and you'll see that there's two different versions. So this is the 32-bit operating system version, and this is the 64-bit version. So it just depends on what your system is as to which one you use. I'll be using the 64-bit version, but it doesn't really make a difference. Clicking on this will open up the base R graphical user interface, or GUI, and R is an interpreted programming language. And what that means is that we can write instructions in a specific way, the R language, and when we send these instructions to the R interpreter, it will tell the computer to execute commands and return us the results. Now, the simplest way we can interact with the R interpreter is by writing single-line instructions or code into this console window. And the classic example of the first line of code you should write when you're learning a new programming language is Hello World. So we're going to tell R to print the words Hello World to the screen. And we're going to do this using a print function. Now you don't need to know exactly what functions are for now. That's something we'll go through in a few videos' time. All you need to know at the moment is this function will print whatever is contained within these parentheses to the screen. If I click Enter, you'll see that the computer returns Hello World. You'll notice that I also had to put the words we want to say within these quotation marks, and that's because this function requires you to give it something called a string. And again, this is something we'll come on to later. Another simple way that we can interact with the R interpreter through the console window is by using R as a basic calculator. So we can do something like 1 plus 1, and R will return 2, or 10 divided by 5, and again, we'll return 2. Or 20 minus 10 will give us 10. Or even more complex things such as 20 minus 10 in brackets times 2 to the power of 3. And R will follow the simple BODMAS order of interpretation. This is all great, but where programming becomes really valuable is when you can write multiple lines of code and then send it to the interpreter to perform them all in a certain order. And to do this, we need to write a script. So, to write a script, we just go File, New Script. And in this new window that appears, we're going to write a script which takes your name, inserts it into a welcome message, and then prints that to the screen. You don't need to worry about exactly how I do what I'm doing here, as we'll come on to that in future videos. The purpose of this is just to get you to write your first R script and run it. Let's assign your name to an object called name. So this is the object called name, and this less than symbol followed by a hyphen assigns the piece of data Harry to that object, essentially saving this piece of data in this object. We're now going to assign a second object called message, and to that we're going to assign a little welcome message. So hello, my name is, we're just going to leave that blank for a second, and this is my first R script. And what we're going to do here is we're going to use another function called sprintf, and what this allows us to do is we can put a percentage sign and an S in here, and that is basically a placeholder. And we then tell it afterwards what we want to place in that placeholder. So we're going to place name in that placeholder. And what this will do is it will take this message, this string, and insert name at this point. And name is Harry. So it should say, hello, my name is Harry, and this is my first R script. And then finally, we're going to print message to the console. Now we can run this entire script line by line by going to edit and run all. And you can see that returns, hello, my name is Harry, and this is my first R script. So again, what's happened is, line by line, this has been passed to the R interpreter. So first, Harry is assigned to the object name. Then we take this string, hello, my name is blank, and this is my first R script, and we insert the object name into where the percentage sign and S is. This whole string is then assigned to the object message, and then finally we print message. Now we can change this name in the quotes up here and run it all again, and you'll see that the output has changed to hello, my name is Tom, and this is my first R script. And this all seems quite trivial, but being able to execute code in order like this can become very powerful, and that's your first R script. So we can save this by going to File, Save, and then just choose where we want to save it, and I'm just going to call it Tutorial 1. And now what that means is we can come back later and run this script again without having to rewrite it all into the console. You could do everything in this series using the base R graphical user interface like we have been. However, there are programs that are designed to make writing code easier. These programs are called Integrated Development Environments, or IDEs. And the most popular IDE for R is called RStudio. And so for the final bit of this video, I'm going to show you how to download RStudio, and then we'll be ready to get going on something more interesting in the next video. Right, to download RStudio, quite simple. We're just going to search RStudio, go to this download link, scroll down to download, and we're just going to pick this RStudio desktop free version. And hopefully again, this should give you the right download for your operating system. If not, the others are all just down here. And so once that's downloaded, we'll open it up. And again, we're just going to click through all the default settings pretty much. You can change where you want to save it here. We're just going to keep going, and it starts installing. And now we'll just click finish. And this time we're just going to search for RStudio, and there you see it will appear. And when RStudio loads up, you should be presented with this. Now this is very similar to the R GUI. You've got the console over here where we can type simple commands, just as we did before. But what's great about RStudio is it has other things, such as this environment section, which will show us important data later on that will make coding a lot easier. And this section down here, which makes it much easier to do things such as import files to R, see the plots that you've made in R, and import R packages. You can also view the help section, which will really help with coding when you get a bit stuck. And then similarly to the R GUI, we can just go to File, New File, R Script if we want to write a script. So now that we've downloaded R, written our first R script, and now downloaded RStudio, we're really ready to get going in the next few tutorials and see just how powerful R is. Don't forget to give this video a quick like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.